Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Sunshine here. So if you guys do not know me, I am Sunshine. I currently live in Minnesota. I was born and raised in California. I'm 20 years old. My birthday is next month, and I'm hoping to do a book birthday challenge at Barnes & Nobles. Today, I'm going to go through everything that I've written. Here is Act 3-act structure. This is the fantasy version. This is the dark romance version. Sure, I don't get these 3-act structure. I use more of the basic story structure. It's been a month since I used the structure. I used the structure for a fantasy project called Project Fox. It's about a 9-tailed fox and a prince. And this has to do with a Korean mythology folklore. If you guys ever watched The Tale of the Nine-Tailed Fox, the Korean drama, I love it. I just felt like writing a story like this can actually be really good for viewers and readers, and so I wrote this. And I wrote this in this kind of structure. This structure was also written, well, not written, or originated from the YouTuber Abby Emmons, and I just wrote down every plot point or any bullet points of each categories and wrote it down in here for each act. I did that for Project Fox, and so I completed that whole 3-act structure one day. I really fell in love with the story, but I just felt like the story was lacking a little bit of detail and a little bit of plot, like developmental plot elements and details. It was lacking something. I wanted to go back into the plot and go back into the map world, the world building, the characters. I wanted to see if these stuff were still lacking. If they were still lacking, I will have to change the whole entire plot and make it up to something that I think would sound good. But I've written over 4 fantasy so far. I'm not really a fantasy girly, but I end up watching Chinese dramas now, and I'm totally in love with them. I am writing a Chinese fantasy. I watch Korean, Thai, Japanese, Chinese. I came up with Project Fox, and Project Fox is really similar to every Korean dramas. And so I'm like debating whether should I write it, but since I finished a 3-act structure, I kind of really do want to put this out. I just feel like it's a really good young adult, I don't know, like kind of like a fast read, like a boring fast read, if you guys get what I'm saying. Next is a Chinese fantasy. I created this one yesterday, or maybe like a few days ago. This one is called Project Divine. It was originally called Project I, but I changed it to Divine because I have another project called I. It's got to do with 4 clans, so 4 different towns, 4 different surnames, mostly set in a Chinese historical setting in fantasy world. I don't know if I really want them to have superpowers, but we're kind of working on that a little bit. But it's supposed to be like a war type setting where they have to fight in war. Project Divine is about these 4 clans: Kai, Zhao, Sun, Xiang. These 4 clans normally have eye colors, and these eye colors are very, very special to their tier and their higher ranks. So if you guys know, like, those Chinese dramas, Korean dramas where they have like the majesty and then the right hand man of the majesty, and then they have the chief secretary, the police officers, and the lawyers, stuff thingamajigger, and the person who like literally does with the army, like the general there of them. And so that's like the tier of each thing. So in this universe, in this world that I created, they have 4 different tiers. So obviously the first tier is Zhou, and Zhao is the first tier with their eyes crimson red. So this story is only about eyes. So eyes are their superpower. And I just feel like this is really cool because a lot of Chinese fantasies always like changes their eyes in some ways, or they change their hair like black to white, and I just feel like doing eyes will be really, really cool. The most important part will be explained after I explain these clans. And so the second tier is T. The second tier, they are midnight blue. Red is the first tier, midnight blue is the second tier, Xiang is the third tier, and their colors are orchid purple. Last tier, Sun, is yellow. They eventually have different eye colors, and these are their tier colors, so that is preferred over the ranks. And I made a map for it, I just don't like it, so I might have to redo. What it is supposed to be is that they have to steal this cloth, and this cloth will be the empowerment of your eyes, of your powers, of your supernatural powers. And she has to go and find this cloth. It's an enemies to lovers trope. It's an assassin to first class. Maybe he's a prince. I haven't decided that far. I did do a brain dump document, and I just thought that maybe he will be a prince. Like, there's like each prince in each realm or so. So maybe he's a prince, and second tier also has a princess because she's a princess. There's no boys in that higher up position. And then there's her in the third clan, and then a boy in the fourth clan. So they all are like all raised in the same age, but they don't know each other. So they're eventually prince and princesses in each of their own clans and different kingdoms or dynasties. And so this is kind of like those Chinese, fantasies. So she has to gain this cloth to overcome people seeing her with different eye color. Her eye colors, I'm kind of wanting it to be clementine, because I know what that is. It's kind of like a mixture of purple and red. So then it's kind of like combined with her and the red clan. So it's just, her eyes are super special that when she literally goes to the first kingdom, she has to wear a blindfold. And there's this universe, there are some people who do not gain their powers or are blind because they do not have their powers, so they have to like blindfold. And so she has to like blend in with him. Pretty awesome approach. I had this project for a while. I had it ever since maybe when I started writing Save Me first version, and I had it for a while, so it was like 2.5 years ago. And so I let this story sit in my document for a long time, Google Docs, for a long time, hoping that I wrote Save Me first. But I came back to this project, and I'm thinking a lot. Like, maybe I won't make this as an American fantasy, but I'd rather make this a Chinese fantasy. And so I end up doing it as a Chinese fantasy. So this project is really awesome, and I hope that I'll fix the setting as it goes, plot, the characters' development. I just hope that this story can be really, really well organized, neatly, and well written. I will try really hard to write it as much as I can. I'm not a showing person, I'm more of a telling person. So that is definitely hard to approach. And because I'm a beginner writer, I love writing ever since school. So writing was a major thing. Writing these fantasy projects are obviously really cool for me because I just have the love for fantasies, and now it's the best time. I do love high school romances, so I am writing one. This is called Project, I haven't gave it a name actually. Project Attitude, he's a gangster and she's getting abused by her parents. And it's a young adult. That is my projects. Project Blue, I decided to hold on to it. I haven't done a brain dump document, haven't started on a structure or outline. Like, I just still, I'm motivated. I'm still thinking what kind of plot I want for it because I just don't like it like that. So it will be changed. Project Myth, I did change the whole entire plot. It's now about a princess who curses men to kill them, and the well plays the important part in the story. It's Project Wings. It's about a dark angel and angel. They have to reveal their true love by fighting in these three realms, heaven, dark heaven, and hell, to prove their true love. Project Wings and Project Myth, basic story structure has already been finished. Blue haven't started. And then Project Save Me, I'm currently on chapter 4 for it, so I'm really cool about that. You know, like, it does take time because you have so much project, you have a lot of things to do, you don't have a lot of free time. So Project Ecstasy is a dark romance, which is why in here I wrote one about the dark romance. And Project Ecstasy is about a cop in mafia, and it's a retelling of Harley Quinn and Joker. And so she is a cop while he is a mafia or a drug smuggler. And he kind of drugged her with ecstasy pills, and she intentionally craves him. And he plays mind games with her, so it's kind of like, yes, a dark romance. Obviously, just like Harley Quinn and Joker. So that's why it's a Harley Quinn and Joker retelling. Project Attitude. This is the one I was talking to you guys about. It's like a bully, and she is getting abused by her parents. So when he was a gangster and he heard about her tragic past, he ends up avenging for her parents and beating them to a pulp to make them pay for their own debt. And I just think that this approach is really cool because he's a gangster and she is getting bullied and tortured by her own parents, and him coming for her safety. I think that's a really cool young adult dark romance thing, and I hope young adults like this. I have a dark document. I haven't wrote the outline for it, but Project Divine is on the document. I'm starting on the 3-act structure today, so I hope that I'm doing something today, you know. Bye!